Now I am going to discuss about the eccentric connection. Previous connections are mainly concentric. So what is the meaning of concentric? When the loading CG and the cross sectional CG are in the same line, such connections are called concentric. So first we understand the conception of concentric. I draw a member. So this is a CG line, okay, and also I draw the cross section of this member. uh, this is CG point. So when the load applied along the CG line, okay, so this load is called concentric, okay. Now if load applied far from the CG point, okay, suppose the such type of load applied far from the CG point, then it will create movement, okay. So on cross section I draw the eccentric load which is acting away from the CG point. So due to this, as the loading CG and uh, cross sectional CG will not meet at single point, then it will create a movement. So the axial load also transfer as well as the movement. So this distance, the loading from loading to the CG distance is called, this is a eccentric distance, okay. So this distance is called the eccentricity, okay. Come to the eccentric connection. So I hope that you understand uh, the concentric load and eccentric load. So eccentric load is basically the load applied far from the CG. Similarly, in connection also, if the concentric connection, if the loading CG and connection CG are in the same line, then it is called concentric. If it is not, uh, if the loading CG and connection CG uh, are in different position, then it will consider as a eccentric connection. So you see that now in case of eccentric connection, CG of the connection and CG of the load will be in different position, okay, as it does not coincide the eccentricity, uh, as it does not coincide, then eccentricity will develop. So the loading CG and connection CG will not coincide, will not meet at one point. So that's why the eccentricity come, and uh, and because of its eccentricity, extra moment will develop, okay. Because of the moment, extra stresses will develop. So the moment is coming, so due to the eccentricity, and the moment create the stresses into the bolt or oil. So this this will make a shear stress is also induced into the connection. So on bolt, so this force also transfer. So I draw a bracket connection, simple bracket connection in RC member, cantilever beam. If the load is applied, so this is a support point, so it will, so the this load is transferred to the support as well as the moment also transferred to the support, okay. So if I draw the free body diagram, then you see that this load is applied P, so the reaction is also P, because this force must be transferred to the support, and addition to the force, the another moment is also transferred into the support. So the moment magnitude is how much? P into this distance. So similarly, in eccentric connection, moment transfer. So this type of moment is twisting or bending moment, which is basically this moment uh, make the connection twisting the connection. So that's why this moment is called twisting moment. Whereas in beam, the uh, make the moment bend the member. So that's why it is called bending moment. Whereas the connection is by so by the so because of that moment the connection is twisted. So that's why it is called twisting moment by the eccentrically applied load. So for the eccentrical load, the twisting moment and the forces, the what force is applied, so this force also transfer to the connection as well as twisting moment, because it is a eccentric. If it is concentric, then there will be no movement will not come. But as it is eccentric, so movement as well as the force both will come. Now different type of, so basically the two type of bracket connections are used. So when load lying in the plane of the joint, okay, so this type of connection is called type 1, and when load perpendicular to the joint, so this type of connection is called type 2. So basically two type of connections are considered in your syllabus. One is type 1, another is type 2. When both are eccentric, the bracket connection is the eccentric connection, and type 1 connection where the load lying, it means the load lying in the plane of joint, and another is the load perpendicular to the joint. So this is a figure I have shown, the two figures, one 3D figure, another the elevational view. Okay, so in elevational, this is a plan view. So here the I sections. Now the plate is connected with flange by bolting connection. By bolting, the plate are joined with I section. Now this is called bracket plate, and the load is applied here. So this is a 3D figure of type 1 connection, and this is a plan view. So if you this is a elevation view. Okay, if you draw the elevation, then you see that this line should be dotted. This is not solid because it is not visible on elevation, so that's why the dotted line comes. I mean the wave part, this part, again this thickness, the dotted, because it is not visible on front elevation, and the bolts are given. So bolt is also visible. So here the load given. So you see that this is this portion is visible. So this is a bracket plate. So bracket plate is connected with flange of the I section. Okay, and this is connected, this is joined by bolt. So this type of bolts are used. The bolting are placed in this way. So if this type of bolt are used, I mean if the bolting arrangement patterns are if the bolting are placed in this way, then it is the connection is type 1. Here you see that load lying on the plane of the joint. Okay, this is another type of connection, type 2, where the load perpendicular to the joint, perpendicular to the connection. Okay, So you see that here the load is applied and this is a plate. The uh, this one is the bracket plate are used. uh, this is a angle are used. So this is a bracket plate. Now the bracket plate is connected with this flange. How it connect, how this plate is, how the plate is connected with flange. So here one plate is introduced, one angle sections are used. This is called cleat angle. Now that this cleat angle uh, connect this plate. Okay, so here the bolts are used to join the bracket plate with flange. So here the this type of connection where the load perpendicular to the joint. Okay, you see that perpendicular to the joint. Here the bracket T are used. So this the analysis is very important, because you know that to design the connection you must know the analysis of the analysis. You must know the background of the analysis. So and accordingly we design. So analysis, first we perform the analysis, then we proceed for design. So you see that this is an eccentric connection. The elevation is drawn. So I sections are used. Okay. So this one is the CG line, and these two are the thickness of the I section. So which is not comes on elevation. Although this portion remain, but it will not, it is not visible on elevation. So that's why the dotted line comes. Here the 4 bolts are used and the numberings are done 1, 2, 3 and 4 bolts are used. The eccentric the distance of load from CG is denoted by E. E means eccentricity. Okay, so this load is applied and the eccentricity is denoted by E. So it will create, so this force is transferred to the connection, the P force is transferred to the connection. Okay, this is a direct force, and also it create a twisting moment, because you see that due to this load the connections, so this is CG point, so connections are try to twisting about that axis. Okay, about that axis, longitudinal about that axis. So it will about the CG point, the connections are twisted. Okay, the twisting moment is developed, so it is twisting. So it will create a twisting moment. Now this twisting moment develop the stresses into the bolts, so that you have to consider, and also the direct force also create the stresses, that also you have to consider. So as it is a eccentric connection, both direct force and moment are transferred to the bolt group. Shear force, which is denoted RV, induced in bolt group is shared by bolt equally. Moment induce bending forces Fm into the bolt. Now you see that so this the effect of this axial force, it is distributed equally among the bolts. Okay, so you see that the force comes, this force develop the stresses into the bolt. So here how many here 4 bolts are used, so P by 4, because this force is distributed equally among the bolts, so that is equal to P by 4. So RV1 is equal to how much? P by 4. P by 4. Because this force is carried by 4 bolts equally. That we have assumed, we have considered. Another force, that is a twisting moment, because this force create a twisting moment which will twisted the connection. So the moment is how much? The force into perpendicular distance, okay, from CG. So this is E. So empty total moment, which is equal to magnitude of load into eccentricity. Now this moment create stresses into the bolt, okay. So this force also distributed among the bolts, okay, because the bolt taking the forces, because this is applied force and the resistive force developed by the bolts, okay. So this, as it is moment, so that's why this bending force applied to the bolt, and which is perpendicular to the radial axis. So this angle is 90 degree. So you see that similarly Fm2 in bolt 2, the force bending force developed, that is perpendicular to the radial axis, okay. This is radial axis, perpendicular to the radial axis. Similarly Fm3 also developed the force bending force developed in bolt into the bolt 3, and again it is perpendicular to the radial axis. So you see that similarly Fm4 also perpendicular to the radial axis. So these all forces, this applied moment distributed among the bolts, because the applied moment and the resistive force developed by the bolt, so it will distributed among the bolts. So depending on radial distance, because we are using all bolts are equal, I mean the identical. So depending on radial distance, the different if different bending force are induced which is perpendicular to the radial axis, and it will create a twisting moment, so which is equal to this MT, total moment. So this is a applied force and this is a resistive force, and it will create a twisting moment. So two figures I have drawn. This is axial effect, another is moment effect. So both have to consider to find out the total forces, total stresses induced in a particular bolt. So you see that shear force is equally so hence as I have considered, shear force is equally distributed among the bolts, okay. You see the figure. So here this force is equally distributed among the bolts. As it is eccentric connection, so moment is also transferred to the bolt group. Moment is transferred to the bolt group as it is eccentric connection. Therefore, bending stress is induced to the bolt. The force Fm is acting perpendicular to the radial axis. So this bending force is perpendicular. This bending force is perpendicular to the radial axis. Okay, this angle is 90 degree. Also, it has observed that Fm proportional to R means uh, the bending force, the bending force induced into the bolt, this force is proportional to radial distance. If the radial distance is more, then bending force also more. Okay, so means the extreme bolt experience maximum bending force. The extreme bolt, the farthest bolt, which is the maximum radial distance from the CG, experience maximum bending forces. It means if radial distance is more, then Fm is also more. Now we derive the equation, the force developed in a typical bolt due to axial load and moment. So as it is eccentric connection, so axial load and moment both are transferring to the connection. So we find out we derive the equation, what forces developed in a typical bolt due to axial and moment. So as I have said, vertical force induced due to P in a bolt is how much? That is applied load by N. N is the number of bolt, because this vertical force, we assume that, we consider that this vertical force distributed among the bolts equally. So that's why just we just we divide the load by number of bolts to get the force developed in a particular bolt. Again, Fm is proportional to R, that we consider. We have observed that the bending force is proportional to radial distance, so we get a proportionality constant which is K, or this K is equal to Fm by R. Now moment is distributed among the bolt depending on radial distance, so the total moment is equal to, this is applied moment. Mt is how much? Mt is equal to, this is applied moment, equal to P into E. This is a total moment applied. Now this moment is distributed among the bolts. Okay, so and how much bending force is induced in a particular bolt, so it depends on radial distance. So for different radial distance, the different bending forces are induced. So you see that this Fm1 induced, and this is a resistive force, because this is applied force which twist this moment, twisting the connection. Now the resistive force developed by the bolt, which is equal to Mt. So this applied moment equal to Fm1, the bending force of bolt 1 into R1 is the radial distance from CG to bolt 1, plus Fm2, because this is a moment equilibrium, the applied force equal to resistive force, into R2 plus Fm3 into R3, similarly Fm4 into R4. So 4 bolts are used and different radial distance R1, R2, R3, R4 to get the resistive. So this one is the resistive twisting moment, and this is applied twisting moment. Now we know that K is equal to Fm by R. So if I put the value of K, then we get the square of the radial distance. So where I is the number of volts, means the I ranges the limiting I the I is starting from 1 to n. N is the number of volts. So this is Ri square. Again we so Fm1 is equal to how much? That is K into R1. So K, if I take the common, K if I take, then this expression will come, and again we put the value of K, which is equal to Fm by R. Okay, so Fm by R into Ri square. Now from that equation we find out the bending forces, which is equal to mt, because the mt into R by summation Ri square, where mt is the total moment equal to P into E. E is the eccentricity, the distance from applied force to CG of the bolt group. R is the radial distance, P equal to applied forces, and Fm1 the bending force induced in a bolt one. So we have seen that we determine, we compute the bending forces induced in a particular bolt. Using that expression we can get the bending forces induced in any bolt. Now we draw this is a CG line, CG point. Now this is a R, radial distance. This is a xi distance, means the horizontal distance, and this is vertical distance, y. Vertical distance is denoted by y. So now you see that the x and y is the horizontal and vertical distance of R. So and here the bending force is acting, which is perpendicular to the radial axis. Now this Fmi means this bending force we resolve in two component, the horizontal component and the Cartesian components. This force is resolved into the two Cartesian component along x-axis and along y-axis. So now the radial distance is this hypotenuse is equal to square of hypotenuse is equal to xi square plus yi square. Now cos theta is how much? Cos theta is base by hypotenuse xi by r, and sin theta is the perpendicular by hypotenuse. Now this force is resolved in two component, horizontal component and vertical component. So if this angle is theta, then this angle is also theta. So you check it. Now this this bending force resolved in two component, horizontal component and vertical component. Now the vertical component is cos theta. Fm cos theta is the vertical component, and Fm sin theta is the horizontal component. So that's why this is Ry vertical component, Fm I cos theta. So Fm I we already derived for a particular bolt. The expression of Fmi we have derived in early slide. So this is the expression of bending force induced in a particular bolt. So this expression we already derived. Now we put this expression into that equation, so we get this value mt r by summation of ri square into xi by r, which is equal to, so this r and r, numerator and denominator are cancelled, so we get this final expression mt xi by summation of ri square. Again we put the value of ri square, which is xi square plus yi square, x square plus y square. Similarly, the horizontal component fm sin theta, the sin theta value is y by r, and fm we have already derived the expression of bending forces, which is equal to mt into r by summation r square, where mt is equal to p into e. Again here this r and r cancelled, so we get this final expression mt y I by summation of I equal to 1 to 1 n, where n is the number of bolt. Okay, 1 to n, that you have to sum up this distance and mt yi. So we get the horizontal component of the bending forces and vertical component of the bending forces. Now we draw the vector diagram, and the force we represent, the vertical components are represented along y-axis, and horizontal component is represented on x-axis. Okay, so the horizontal component is rx, and ry is a bending force, and this rv also vertical component, vertical forces induced due to direct force. So that's why we simply add it. So these two forces are represented on vertical axis, and the horizontal component of the bending force represented on x-axis. Now the resultant is how much? So this is root over of ry plus rv, these two are vertical components whole square plus rx square. Okay. And this note is very important. The bolt which have maximum radial distance, that bolt has experienced maximum forces. It means this bolt is critical. So only because in a connection there are number of bolts, so which one we check, or which bolt we have to design. So the answer is the critical one, because if the critical bolts sustain the load, if the critical bolt is safe, then other bolt are also automatically safe. Okay, because the other bolt have the lesser forces. So this point you note. So always we design the critical bolt which have the maximum forces, the critical bolt experience maximum forces. Now these are the design procedure of eccentric bolted connection. So I just read the number and diameter of bolt for the connections are assumed. So the diameter you have to choose a particular type of bolt. Okay, the diameter of the bolt you have to choose, the standard diameter you have to choose, and these are placed 2 or more vertical rows at suitable pitch and edge distance. So you know the minimum pitch and maximum pitch, so you place the bolt in such a way so that the pitch and end distance are not more than, no, not less than minimum and not more than maximum. Okay, and also you have to think, you have to and also you think that the overlapping, so you place the bolt in such a way so that the overlapping distance also minimized. Okay, overlapping distance should be less. So here the overlapping distance, because the minimum, if you provide a minimum overlapping distance, then you can save the material and your connection become economic. Okay. Next, the resultant force on the critical bolt is worked out. So find out the resultant forces on the critical bolt. The critical bolt is the bolt which experience maximum forces. The bolt which carry the maximum forces. So this bolt, the resultant force, you find out the resultant force on the critical bolt. Next, the strength of the bolt is computed. So after that, this is step 1. The step 2, step 3 is to find out, you find out the design strength of the bolt. So you know that so you find out the shearing capacity of the bolt, bearing capacity of the bolt, then tensile capacity of the plate, and minimum one is the strength of the bolt or design strength of the bolt. And the design condition is the design strength of the bolt should be more than resultant force on the critical bolt. So what resultant force induced into the critical bolt, this force should be less than strength of the bolt. So I just write here that this is strength of the bolt. This is a design condition, should be more than resultant force induced on the critical bolt. So this criteria you have to check. If it is less, then what happened? Then the bolt is failed. Okay, so so your connection is failed if it is less than R. So the strength should be adequate and strength should be more than resultant forces induced into the critical bolt. So I repeat the summary for the design procedure of eccentric bolted connection. So first you choose the number and diameter of the bolt, and this bolt you place in a 2 or more vertical rows using the suitable pitch and edge distance. And the what pitch you consider, that should not be less than minimum and not more than maximum. And also you have to ensure that the connection should be economic. The second one is you calculate the resultant forces on the critical bolt. Then the strength of the bolt is computed, and finally you verify the strength of bolt should be more than resultant force. Now I am going to discuss one numerical on eccentric connection using bolt. So this is a bracket 1 type of connection. The question is determine the shape load. Okay, find out the shape load that can be carried by the joint as shown below. So here the joints are shown here. The bolt used a 20 mm diameter. So diameter of the bolts is 20 mm. The grade is given 4.6. The thickness of flange, the flange thickness of I section is 9.1 mm. Okay, and that of bracket plate thickness is 10 mm. So you see that here 10 number of bolts are used. The piece distance is given 120 mm, the center line. End distance is 40 mm and the bolts are equally spaced. So you see that the piece distance, the gauge distance, pitch given 80, 80 and 80. Okay, and the end distance 40 given. The thickness of the flange I section is 9.1. That I am showing the 3D figure, then you understand. So you see that this flange thickness given 9.1 mm and also the bracket plate connection thickness is given, that is 10 mm. Okay. Now first we find out the first we determine the strength of the bolt. First we find out the design strength of the bolt. So grade of plate given Fe 410, it means ultimate tensile strength of the plate is 410 MPa. For bolt of grade 4.6, the ultimate tensile strength of bolt is 400 MPa. Partial safety factor for the material of bolt. So bolt factor of safety is how much? 1.25 from figure table 5. M16 means the nominal diameter of the bolt, which is denoted by D, small d, is 16 mm. So the gross diameter is the nominal diameter plus clearance of hole, the clearance given in table 19 IS 800/2007. So overall the hole diameter is, so this is 22 mm. Okay. ASB, area of shank, pi by 4 d square. Area of threaded portion, so this is 0.78 times ASB. So we are using the empirical formulae. So we get 245 millimeter square area of thread. The given what data are given, the diameter of bolt given 20 mm, pitch given 80 mm, then edge distance given 40 mm. You see that bolt will be in single shear and bearing. So how it is single shear? How the bolt become single shear, that I show you. Again see the 3D figure. So you see that this flange and this bracket plate is joined by the bolt. So you see that here the single shear take place. Okay, the shear plane is 1. This is one shear plane. So that's why the single shear took place. Single shear plane comes. So as the shear plane single shear, so that means the shear plane is 1. So nominal shear capacity of the bolt per pitch length using this clause number table 5 and 19, Na is the number of shear plane uh, passing through thread. Okay, so we consider the critical plane, critical portions we have considered. So as you know that the threaded portion are critical, so that's why we assume that the shear plane passes through threaded portion. So that's why Na is equal to 1. So as it is single shear, so only one plane, so the NS number of shear plane through shank is 0. So if you ultimate tensile strength of the bolt is 400. So now put these values and we get the 56.58 kilonewton. Now next we determine the design shearing strength per pitch length. Okay, so design shearing strength is how much? This is nominal shearing strength divided by partial factor of safety of bolt. So gamma MB is equal to 1.25 from table 5. So VDSB design shear strength of bolt is how much? 45.26 kilonewton. Next we find out the nominal bearing capacity of bolt per pitch length using this expression and this expression given in 10.3.4. So 2.5 kb into d into t. T is the thickness of thinner plate. Fu is the ultimate tensile strength of bolt. Because the minimum you have to consider. So minimum is the bolt tensile strength and plate tensile strength. So the between the two ultimate tensile strength, minimum you have to consider. So this is a bolt tensile strength you have to consider. Now Kb is list of E by 3d0, P by 3d0 minus 0.25, then ultimate tensile strength of bolt to ultimate tensile strength of plate and 1.0. The lesser value is taken, so Kb is 0.606. Now the nominal bearing capacity is how much? 110.3 kilonewton. Now the design bearing strength dividing factor of safety of the bolt, so this is equal to 88.23 kilonewton. So hence design strength of bolt is 45.26 kilonewton. Okay, the minimum we have to consider. So it is failed in shear first, so that's why the shearing shearing strength are considered as a design strength of the bolt. Okay, so between bearing and shearing, the bolt is failed shear first. Okay, so shear failure first take place, then bearing failure. So the design strength is which one is the design strength? The shearing strength. Okay, because the shearing strength is less than bearing. Next we find out the service load. The factor load is P1 given. Determine the shape load P. So P means the service load. The what shape load given, that is a service load given. So P is equal to P1 by load factor. The P1 is the P is the factor load. Okay, P is the P1 P1 be the factor load, and hence service load P equal to P1 by load factor. So that the P you have to find out. Load factor is how much? For you know that for dead load, live load, the load factor is 1.5. Now the critical bolt which have maximum radial distance, the critical bolt, which one is the critical bolt? The critical bolt which have maximum radial distance. So this bolt is considered as a critical bolt. Okay, the maximum radial distance means the maximum bending forces. So that bolt has experienced maximum forces. If critical bolt withstand load safely, then other bolt is also safe. Hence critical bolts are considered in this problem. 1, 2, 9, 10 bolts are critical. So bolt 2 is considered. So I am showing this the figure. So you see that this bolt and this bolt has the maximum radial distance. So this 1, 2, 9, 10 both are identical and both have the same radial distance, and this bolt has maximum radial distance. So these bolt are critical. So we consider bolt 2. So you understand that we consider the 2. You may consider 9, 10. Okay, any one of 1 to 9, 10. So the total number of bolts in the joint is how many bolts are used? 10 number bolt are used. So the direct force in each bolt is how much? That is P1 by N. Okay, so each, because the direct force is distributed equally among the bolts. So here the number of bolt is 10. So in each bolt the how much force is induced due to direct force? This is P1 by 10 kilonewton. Now the bending force are in bolt 2. Using this expression, the vertical component of the bending force mt into xi by summation of xi square plus y square, and the horizontal component of the bending forces is mt is the total moment into yi by summation of xi square plus y square. Now the summation of I equal to 1 to n means the 10 number of bolts. So we sum up the coordinates, x coordinate and y coordinate, square of the x coordinate and y coordinate. So we get this value 164,000 is the 1,64,000 millimeter square. Now the RYT is how much? MT is equal to P1 into E. So E is known, E is the eccentricity. So 200 given. Now the value comes 3P by 41, where MT is equal to P1E. Similarly RX2 also 8P by 41 kilonewton. So hence the resultant force induced on bolt 2 due to eccentric load Pi is how much? Again we use this expression Ry2 plus Rv whole square plus Rx2. So we get this expression. Now we apply the design criteria to find out the safe load, to find out to get the P1. So induced resultant force due to eccentric load should not exceed design strength of bolt, means that is bolt value. So this mathematical condition is applied we apply the mathematical condition and solve this equation, and we get the P1 value 173.5. so this is a factor load, so hence safe service load is how much? So factor load divided by 1.5 to get the safe service load. Okay, so here I end my lecture. So this is a solution of the bracket connection, type 1 connection. This type of problem frequently comes in university exam, and the maximum marks is 15 marks allotted. So you practice this numerical. Thank you.